Greetings, citizens. Justiguy has arrived, rather. Justiguy has returned to that which binds us. A English-made visual novel that you can get at the link below. It's from Steam, and words, and they come out. Yes, indeed. Speaking of words, last time in this game of words, Evalise, our heroine, was dragged away from a romantic, snow-filled afternoon with Idris to go to work. Good times. Well, now she's back home, and where did she put those painkillers? Let's find out. I ought to be paid comp time for this headache after all that. Getting out pen and paper for transactions and telling people for the 50th time that we can't take credit cards at the moment. Definitely not the best way to end the day. At least the hot chocolate was nice this morning. I wish I could have spent more time there, though. Away from work, of course. Maybe the news tonight will be boring enough to make me fall asleep. Clouds will be moving in this week, causing more snow flurries, but the temperature will be rising slightly, resulting in mostly rain. Dreary as usual this time of year. Tonight, a group of burglars attempted to break into the bank on East Winchester Road. They were armed with pistols and blowtorches. No suspects have been arrested yet. Here are the images from the bank's surveillance camera showing the suspects. The images might as well have been taken from space. It's impossible to even tell what race they are, let alone identify them. Still, it's all I have to go on. Yeah, I'm definitely never being a detective. There is speculation that this attempted robbery and a string of others are connected to a skirmish between rival gangs. Do gangs really have blowtorches, though? I always thought gangs were high school and college-age kids who had nothing better to do. Guess I shouldn't go by any banks at night anytime soon. These blankets are so nice and warm. Maybe I'll fall asleep soon. Transition! Oh, is this a new place? I think it might be. Ha! I can't believe you got called in the other day. I can't believe it either. You just need to learn to say no. How do I say no to that? You say you can't, duh! Come to think of it, I've never seen Sierra come into work on days she's off. If he calls you up, you say, "Oh no, how horrible, but I'm out of state right now. I wish I could come in, but I can't." So I lie. It's just a small white lie. It's your day off. Make sure it stays that way. I'll have to remember that. So now, like we were saying, what about this guy? You barely told me anything about him. Oh God, not this again. I told you all there is to I told you all there is to know. Come on, that can't be it. Were you just at a cafe or something with him? Where are you two going to go next? Going to dinner and for coffee gets boring quickly. Who said we're going anywhere else? Oh, please. We're at the movies. There's a lot of new films about to come out. How about no? She is loving every second of this. Ooh, or what about the charity ball? That's kind of expensive to get tickets for, though. Yeah, no. I think there's something going on at the museum downtown. Maybe he'd be interested in that. Like what? I don't know. Probably some new exhibit or something. Gosh, why are you asking me? It's not like I brought it up or anything. Why? You think he'd like that? Probably not. But I don't want to go by myself, and he wouldn't mind going somewhere with me like that. Probably. Maybe. I'll have to find out more about it. Are you almost done with your drink? We should be heading back. Ah! You're right! Why can't I just take it with me? No food or drink is allowed inside the store. Sorry. Okay. Let's go. Oh, did she just get a jacket just now? I missed it, but I think she did. That's neat. What a beautiful place. It's usually adorned with different paintings and murals, but now it has all that and even more embellishments. The whole place looks like a gala rather than a museum. And wow, he actually showed up a bit early. Good job. Clap, clap, clap for you, my friend. Oh, fancy outfits! Maybe I should always make impromptu arrangements over the phone if that's what it takes to get you to meet me somewhere on time. Please, I'm not always running behind. So you drag me all the way here at night. Please tell me what we're here to see. There's a touring exhibit here for the next few weeks on ancient civilizations. Uh-huh. Well, let's get started. Where do you want to look first? How about... ooh, these! I point out crudely sharpened Chapin rocks displayed in a glass box underneath an ornate painting of apples. It's definitely an odd sight having an exhibit on mankind's earliest items in the same room as a collection of paintings from the still life era of painting. Idris is less than impressed. Rocks. Amazing. Sugoi desu ne. Rocks. They're not just rocks. Baka. Moon rocks? No! They're old tools used by people living in the Stone Ages. Before more proper tools were invented, they'd sharpen rocks with other rocks. That's how they made spears to hunt with. Uh-huh. Is that all you're going to say tonight? Hopefully not. Let's look at something else. What's this over here? There's some ancient clothes. Read the nameplate. How'd they even survive this long? There are some artifacts that have survived longer than these. Sometimes items were left in ideal conditions and get preserved. But you can still see some wear and tear on them. You know, this plaque says that they got these from a corpse, right? As in they took them off someone's dead body? We're all gonna die someday. You're so cheerful. Maybe one day one of our remnants will be behind some glass case in a museum. Maybe one day there'll be an exhibit on just my knife, eh? There sure wouldn't be one on just the owner. To the left of the tools is an open box, with a glass lid over it, of course. Oh look, it's some children's toys. Yeah, children who are dead now. Freaking hell, dude! Really? Now who's the cheerful one? I couldn't help it. It's amazing how these were considered toys to them. I mean, now we have more stuff for kids to play with than they have time to, and that's just on phones and tablets alone. But back then, they had sticks and dirt. If they were lucky, they had little carved dolls and figures. Don't you think it's fascinating how kids would play with these? Not really. I'm having a better time standing back and watching you. He smirks at me when he says it, but I pretended I didn't hear. Hey, what's this? He points to a case containing crude pots that look more like coconut shells. It's how they preserve and make their food. They had crude bowls and mallets to grind foods together until they were pulp. I really hope you didn't want to get dinner after this. Oh, come on. What else were they supposed to eat? They didn't even have proper knives. I'll just take your word on it. Come on, I want to go see this. What's this? What's underneath the cloth? What do you think? Oh, what's this? What's underneath the cloth? Oh, come on, what do you think? Is it really? Come on, you act like you've never seen a dead body before. Oh, he actually does not look well. No, I actually haven't. Wait, where have you seen one? Sometimes you accidentally... No, you don't! Damn, girl! Sometimes you accidentally click on websites that you don't mean to. You and me both. Dots. Why won't they take off the clothes to show its face? Look at this thing. It's easily thousands of years old. Thing. If they had tried unraveling it, it'd probably collapse into dust. And do you really want to see its face? Probably not. All of this stuff had to be shipped here with the utmost care. Imagine paying millions for hundreds of thousands of year-old relics, and one bump in the road turned them into dirt and dust. Talk about a bad work day. That's why I'll stick to talking about them instead of curating them. And how's that coming along? Alright. Have you even started looking for college? I have. Well, it's not the greatest time of year to be looking into attending college since classes started months ago. But I have been looking, thank you. Sure. Alright, what's this tapestry-looking thing here? This looks more recent than the rest. Why? Just because it's much more elaborate and highly detailed? Absolutely. Then you'd be right. I didn't know this was a quiz. This looks like it's from an early Chinese civilization. That sounds kind of vague. I'm not really good with Asian history studies. I've got to brush up on them. I'm better at Middle Eastern history. The birthplace of humanity. Yeah, I didn't think you'd know that. I listen to things sometimes. Idris says it all casually and paces a bit, looking around. I figured the exhibit would be larger, but we're already done. Well, that seems to be about it. Where are we off to now? Dots. Excuse me? Jeez, did he have to walk halfway across the museum just so I wouldn't overhear? He's keeping his head down and his other hand in his coat pocket while pacing. The look on his face is a mix of anxiety, frustration, and impatience. Despite his expressions, he's managing to keep his voice down. After a bit, he stands there. He hangs up and stands there, motionless for a brief moment before walking back to me. Oh, that's not a good face. Dots. I've gotta go soon. But I want to show you something before I do. Come on, it's up this way. He leads me towards the room's back wall, and we go up to a small flight of stairs to another room. Some exhibit on art of ancient wildlife. It looks like a group of scouts are enjoying the exhibit, though their guardians aren't enjoying the size of the museum. The place gets seemingly more crowded and more chaotic, but in a controlled chaos sort of way. The kids aren't exactly disruptive, but it's impossible for the entire group to be quiet and be still. As we're making our way towards the back, Idris takes me by the wrist and we continue on. After escaping the crowd of kids, the further into the museum we go, the more quiet and calm it becomes. Still, he doesn't let go of my wrist. It's not exactly easy to change and relocate entire exhibits, so some of the museum still looks the same as it did when I was younger. It had been years since I'd been able to come here. I'm not one to go places like this by myself, and Stefan would never have gone with me. The last few exhibits were on old European wars, detailing some of the bloodiest conflicts and showcasing some relics. But Idris stops. He looks around for a bit, trying to find something, still clasping my wrist. It's not a tight grasp, but he does have his whole hand wrapped around my wrist and arm. After a bit of pondering, we start walking in towards an unmarked door. Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling now. What? Are we not allowed to go out the front door? Come on, it's not that much further. This door, it seems, is only for personnel or someone with enough clearance who's also equipped with a flashlight. Lucky for us, my phone has a flashlight app. It's still pitch black, but at least we're able to mostly not trip on the stairs as we ascend. Towards the top, a small slit of bluish white peeks through. Moonlight? Idris pushes the door open and we walk out. We're on the rooftop. Well, looks like you can skip over your next eye appointment. What are we doing on the rooftop? Isn't this like employees only? Maybe. Maybe not. But, seeing as how there aren't any employees up here, and what would you have done if there had been employees here? Just get over here. He drags me closer, still holding my hand towards the railing, and stands there, looking away from me. Fine. Oh, that's all you've got to say? I can see why he brought me up here now. Up here you can see for miles. Down below, a small dog park is lit up for the night, so people can take their pets there even in the darkness. The roads surrounding the building are mostly blocked by traffic, which is bumper to bumper at this hour. It's gonna be fun catching a cab tonight. There's a distinct breeze up here, but the sight is enough to take my mind off of it. I step closer to him and lean against the railing. Despite the coolness of the night air, I can feel his warmth beside me. You know, this building used to be for government offices before the city gave it to a privately owned company to use as a public museum. Which is why the structure is a bit weird. Multiple floors, some that non-employees can't even access. Rooms that look better suited for rows of cubicles. But that's also why it's one of the tallest buildings in the area. It was built around the same time as the other skyscrapers around here, so they went ahead and made it the tallest at the time. It's not the best place for a typical museum, but it works fine for housing exhibits as well as research facilities on different floors, even if that means you have to take the elevator to get to some exhibits. It also works perfectly fine if, say, you'd like a nice view. And boy do I have one. Has someone been reading the welcome pamphlet? Maybe. My father used to take me here when I was younger. He was always fascinated by things that didn't make sense or couldn't be explained. He'd always drag me up here with every exhibit. I think he was just hoping that maybe this time he'd see an exhibit on something that resembled his knife. Of course, it never happened. There's a lot of old folk tales and myths pertaining to special knives, but none of them really clicked. They never really hit the nail on the head enough for him to go, "This is it! This is what I've been looking for!" Have you ever tried finding out more about it? Sometimes. It's a bit hard and frustrating, since he already looked through basically everything. But on the other hand, something on it has to be out there. There's entire lost cities, so there's got to be tons of writings, scriptures, and the like that nobody has been able to research. Plus, it's hard to imagine that something like it could go completely undocumented with no trace of it whatsoever. I'd like to know what it is, but I doubt I ever will. Well, have you tried looking through your family history? If it was passed down from generation through generation, then that should give you some kind of idea. Done that. Just a bunch of boring Swedish farmers on one side and some British commoners on the other. Not exactly the best answer for where it came from. I've kinda given up, to be honest. It's not exactly as fascinating to me as it was to him. I'd like to know, but it's not likely I ever will. It works just fine, and that's good enough for me. Now, if it started misbehaving, or if a knife like it came up somewhere else, then maybe I'd be interested in finding out more about the knife. But for now, not really. He looks a bit melancholic, but has a small, somewhat self-depreciating smile on his face. To him, it's just a family heirloom, not an object that breaks the laws of the universe, and thus doesn't require too much scrutiny. He probably has it on him right now. But where is it, by any chance? Huh? Right here. He pats his chest as if that fully answers the question. Where are you keeping it? In an inside pocket on my jacket. Why? Just curious. He turns back towards the skyline. There's a few minutes of silence, but I've learned that silence can be one of the biggest joys in life. And it's a silence I'm about to break, citizens, because I'm afraid that for now, this is going to be... Well, first of all, a reminder. Link to Steam is in the description if you want to read this yourself and not wait for me to do these updates. But anyway, until next time, I'm afraid that this is... farewell!